Welcome to the world where science fiction meets reality, where we are on the brink of reviving extinct species. Welcome to the Lazarus effect. Animal scientists are on the verge of reviving. In a nutshell, the Lazarus effect is the concept of bringing back species that have long since disappeared from the face of the Earth, a phenomena we often term as de-extinction. It's like the plot of a science fiction novel, isn't it? But, my friends, this is no fiction. Science is pushing boundaries, blurring the lines between what's possible and impossible. And today, we find ourselves on the precipice of a breakthrough, one that could rewrite the rules of nature itself. In this video, we'll journey through the science behind the Lazarus effect, meet the animals on the verge of revival, and delve into the potential impacts, the ethical dilemmas, and the controversies surrounding de-extinction. Prepare to step into a world where the extinct roam once more. The Lazarus effect is not magic, it's pure science, a blend of genetics, cloning, and a dash of determination. Now let's delve deeper into what that means. The Lazarus effect, or de-extinction, refers to the process of bringing extinct species back to life. It's like a high-tech version of the phoenix rising from the ashes. But instead of mythical firebirds, we're talking about woolly mammoths, passenger pigeons, and who knows, maybe even dinosaurs one day. The science behind de-extinction is a fascinating mix of cloning and genetic engineering. Cloning involves taking the DNA from an extinct animal and inserting it into an egg from a closely related living species. This egg then develops into an embryo, which is implanted into a surrogate mother. If everything goes according to plan, several months later, you've got a living, breathing example of a species that hasn't walked the earth for thousands or even millions of years. On the other hand, genetic engineering involves a bit more finesse. Scientists take the DNA of an extinct species and compare it to that of a closely related living species. They then identify the genes responsible for the traits that made the extinct species unique. These genes are edited into the DNA of the living species, essentially turning it into a hybrid of the extinct and living species. This hybrid can then be bred to produce offspring that are even more like the extinct species. Of course, both these processes are easier said than done. There are immense technical challenges to overcome, not to mention ethical considerations. But the fact that we're even discussing this as a possibility is testament to how far science has come. The Lazarus effect is a symbol of hope, a testament to human ingenuity, and a potential lifeline for biodiversity in a world where extinction rates are soaring. It's a reminder that while we have the power to destroy, we also have the power to create and restore. So we have the tools. But what's next? Stay tuned as we delve into the animals that are on the brink of resurrection and the potential impact of de-extinction on our world. Scene script. Scientists have a list of species that could be brought back from the dead. Let's explore. Imagine, if you will, an elephant, but not your average elephant. This one is bigger, hairier, and has tusks that curl outwards like an epic set of handlebars. You're visualizing the woolly mammoth, a creature that last roamed the earth around 4,000 years ago. Using DNA samples extracted from preserved mammoth specimens, scientists are exploring the possibility of reintroducing this Ice Age giant into the modern world. It's like a prehistoric homecoming, only without the awkward dance moves. Next up, we have the Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine if you want to get technical. This carnivorous marsupial native to Australia, Tasmania, and New Guinea was declared extinct in the 1930s. However, scientists have managed to sequence the thylacine's genome using preserved specimens. Now they're working on using this genetic blueprint to bring the Tasmanian tiger back from the brink. If successful, it would be the first time we've seen a marsupial with a jaw that can open almost 90 degrees wide in almost a century. Now that's a comeback. Let's not forget the dodo, a bird so synonymous with extinction that its name has become a byword for anything outdated or obsolete. The dodo, once endemic to the island of Mauritius, was driven to extinction by the late 17th century due to human activity. But don't count the dodo out just yet. Scientists have managed to sequence the dodo's genome, and with advances in genetic engineering, we could be on the brink of saying, "Hello again, dodo." It's like the biggest reunion tour in history, and the band hasn't played together in over 300 years. However, it's not just about bringing these animals back for the sake of nostalgia. Each of these species played a crucial role in their respective ecosystems. The woolly mammoth, for instance, helped maintain the grasslands of the Arctic tundra by uprooting trees and trampling the snow, which in turn promoted the growth of grasses. The Tasmanian tiger was a top predator, maintaining balance in its ecosystem. The dodo, with its inability to fly, played a vital role in seed dispersal, promoting forest growth. Their revival could potentially restore the balance of these ecosystems, demonstrating the profound interconnectedness of all life on Earth. It's like the ultimate recycling project, only instead of soda cans and newspapers, we're talking about entire species. These are not just creatures in a storybook, they are on the verge of a comeback. This is the fascinating world of de-extinction, where science fiction meets reality, and where the past might just become the future. So the next time you're at a zoo, don't be too surprised if you see a woolly mammoth, a Tasmanian tiger, or a dodo waddling around. Because, in the world of science, nothing is ever really extinct. It's just waiting for its encore. Bringing back extinct species isn't just a nostalgic trip, it has potential ecological impacts too. Now let's dive into this fascinating topic. Imagine a world where the woolly mammoth roams the Siberian tundra once again, where the dodo waddles around Mauritius. Sounds like something from a science fiction movie, right? But with the advent of de-extinction technologies, we might just be on the brink of turning this fiction into reality. However, as exciting as it may be, it's essential to consider the potential impacts of such a colossal endeavor. Firstly, let's talk about the environment. The reintroduction of extinct species could have significant effects on the ecosystems they once inhabited. For instance, if we bring back the mammoth, it could help slow the melting of the permafrost by trampling the snow and allowing cold air to penetrate the ground. This could potentially help combat climate change, but on the flip side, these revived species could also disrupt current ecosystems and harm existing species. Next, let's consider biodiversity. On the one hand, reviving extinct species could increase the planet's biodiversity, which is a cornerstone of a healthy environment. On the other hand, the resources used for de-extinction could be better spent preserving endangered species and habitats. After all, prevention is better than cure, isn't it? Now, what about the impact on existing animal species? Reintroducing extinct species could cause competition for resources with current species. If the dodo is reintroduced to Mauritius, for instance, it might compete with current bird species for food and nesting sites. This could lead to a ripple effect, causing unforeseen changes in the ecosystem. Moreover, there's also the issue of disease. When we bring back an extinct species, we might also revive ancient pathogens that could harm existing species. It's a bit like opening Pandora's box. We don't really know what we might unleash. Lastly, we must consider the social and ethical implications. Are we playing God by bringing back extinct species, and who gets to decide which species to bring back? There's a risk that de-extinction could be used for novelty or entertainment rather than for conservation. In conclusion, while the Lazarus effect sounds like a thrilling prospect, it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it could potentially help combat climate change, increase biodiversity, and even correct past mistakes caused by human activities. But it could also disrupt ecosystems, harm existing species, and raise significant ethical questions. The Lazarus effect could be a game changer, but at what cost? As we stand on the brink of this new frontier, it's essential that we tread carefully, considering not just the scientific possibilities but also the potential ecological, social, and ethical impacts. The Lazarus effect is not without its share of controversies. It's a scientific achievement, yes, but is it right? Now let's delve into the ethical implications and controversies surrounding the Lazarus effect and de-extinction. It's like opening Pandora's box. Once we start reviving extinct species, where do we stop? And should we even start? Firstly, there's the question of playing God. We're stepping into territory that was once the domain of science fiction, and it raises some serious ethical questions. Do we have the right, as humans, to bring back species that nature has selected for extinction? Or are we meddling with the natural order of things, a balance that has been fine-tuned over millions of years? Secondly, there's the issue of resources. Reviving extinct species is a costly venture, both financially and in terms of time and effort. Is it more ethical to invest these resources into conserving endangered species that are still with us, or should we be focusing on improving the habitats and ecosystems that we've destroyed, instead of trying to replace what we've lost? Thirdly, what happens once these species are revived? Where do they fit into our modern ecosystems? Would they disrupt the balance, becoming invasive species in their own right? Or would they struggle to survive in a world that has moved on without them? Then there's the question of animal rights. Cloning and de-extinction involve a lot of trial and error, often resulting in the suffering and death of many animals before a successful revival is achieved. Is it fair to subject these animals to such a process, all in the name of science? And lastly, let's not forget the potential for misuse. With great power comes great responsibility. But history has shown us that not everyone uses power responsibly. Could de-extinction be used for nefarious purposes like creating dangerous or invasive species? These are just a few of the ethical dilemmas that we face when considering the Lazarus effect. It's a scientific breakthrough, no doubt, but it's also a moral minefield. In conclusion, the Lazarus effect presents us with a paradox. On one hand, it offers a chance to rectify past mistakes, to bring back the dodo, the passenger pigeon, the woolly mammoth. On the other hand, it raises a multitude of ethical concerns from playing God to animal rights. It's a complex issue with no easy answers. But as we move forward, we must remember that just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. We need to consider not just the scientific implications, but the ethical ones as well. Science gives us the power, but it doesn't tell us how to use it. And that, my friends, is the crux of the matter. It's up to us to decide how we wield this power, for better or for worse. The Lazarus effect is more than a scientific novelty, it's a glimpse into the future. As we venture further into this new frontier, we find ourselves standing at the precipice of a world where extinction might not be as final as we once thought. Imagine a future where the term extinct is replaced with temporarily unavailable. A world where the woolly mammoth roams the Siberian tundra once again, where the passenger pigeon fills the skies of North America, and the Tasmanian tiger prowls the Australian bush. This is not the stuff of science fiction anymore, but a potential reality we could witness in our lifetimes, thanks to the Lazarus effect. But as with all great leaps in science, the path ahead is not without its hurdles. The revival of extinct species poses complex questions. How will these species adapt to a world that has moved on without them? What would be the ecological impact of their return? And should we even play God in the first place? Moreover, the Lazarus effect could potentially divert attention and resources from conserving endangered species. We must tread carefully to ensure we're not trading one form of loss for another. On the flip side, the Lazarus effect could revolutionize our understanding of life and death itself. It could offer invaluable insights into evolution, genetics, and diseases. It could even serve as a poignant reminder of our responsibility to safeguard the Earth's biodiversity. In the hands of responsible and ethical scientists, the Lazarus effect could be a powerful tool for conservation. It could help restore ecosystems, revive lost biodiversity, and even counter the effects of climate change. But the key lies in balance and responsibility. As we stand at this crossroads, we must remember that with great power comes great responsibility. The future of the Lazarus effect hinges on how we wield this new power. Will we use it to rectify past mistakes, or will we let it spiral out of control? The Lazarus effect, a step into the past or a leap into the future? The answer, my friends, lies in our hands. The Lazarus effect is not just about bringing back the extinct, it's about understanding life, death, and everything in between. It's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? We've unraveled the science behind the Lazarus effect, exploring how scientists are on the brink of reviving long-lost species. We've delved into the animals on the verge of revival, and the potential impacts that de-extinction could have on our world. We've also grappled with the ethical dilemmas and controversies that this field of study presents. This is no easy feat after all. The Lazarus effect is complex, filled with potential yet fraught with challenges. But it's these complexities that make it so intriguing, isn't it? The possibility to rewrite history, to resurrect the extinct, and to explore the very essence of life itself. Now that you know about the Lazarus effect, we have a question for you. If you could bring back any extinct animal, which one would it be and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below.